We're also learning fascinating new details about the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's inner circle. In particular, 3 men helping their leader perfect a nuclear-tipped missile that could threaten the United States. Let's bring in CNN's Brian Todd. Brian, what are you learning?
Wolf, we have information tonight that intelligence agencies around the world are watching these 3 men very closely. They've got a familiarity with Kim Jong-un that really no one else in the inner circle has, because they are indispensable to his weapons program. After a successful missile launch, they're always in the picture, sharing hugs, smiles, and cigarettes with their vicious boss. 3 officials whose body language and behavior toward Kim Jong-un are different from the other North Korean elites nearby, who genuflect in fear.
Kim Jong-un has guaranteed their job security, and that is what their body language is indicative of. They can feel comfortable enough with Kim Jong-un to deliver bad news.
CNN is told rival intelligence agencies are watching these 3 men carefully. Kim Jong-sik, Ri Pyong-chol, and Jang Chang-ha are supernovas in Kim's inner circle, the men behind the missile tests.
At some point, they are going to put together North Korea's Intercontinental Ballistic missile.
A missile that will eventually have the range to carry a nuclear warhead to the U.S. mainland.
Kim Jong-un is keeping these technocrats right by his side so that he can be in direct contact with them and urge them to move fast. It reflects his urgency about missile development.
Of the 3 men, experts say, Ri Pyong-chol, a former Air Force general, has the most important role.
He's the one that provides Kim Jong-un with the situational awareness. He's the eyes and ears for Kim Jong-un in the development and research of nuclear weapons and conventional weapons.
Analyst Michael Madden is consulted by intelligence agencies on North Korean leaders. He says Kim Jong-sik is an accomplished rocket scientist. It's believed these 3 men are held in such high esteem they get to rub elbows with the supreme leader like no one else.
They do get to travel in Jong-un's jet. They do get to travel in his cars, which is something, a privilege that's not been extended to other core leaders. In terms of their lives in Pyongyang, they live in an exclusive apartment housing.
Analysts say it's possible rival intelligence agencies could target the 3 men for assassination, similar to how 4 Iranian nuclear scientists were assassinated a few years ago.
They could be targeted through a drone strike. The other option is essentially finding someone within the North Korean government who does not like UN, who is disenfranchised and still has access to the activities, that is to say that they have access to the leadership activities, who could be an assassin.
Now, could Kim Jong-un purge any of these men himself if they fail to advance North Korea's weapons program? Analysts say it's possible, but not likely. Their scientific and logistical knowledge is simply too valuable to Kim and too tough for him to replace.
Interesting, Wolf? Brian. The U.S. is so worried, I'm told, about the missile program that these 3 men are supervising that you're getting word tonight of a crucial missile interception test. What are you learning?
That's right, Wolf. This test is coming up this Tuesday, May 30th. We're told the U.S. Missile Defense Agency is going to conduct the first ever test of an interceptor designed to shoot down an intercontinental ballistic missile. An ICBM model is going to be launched from Kwajalein Atoll in the Pacific. The interceptor is going to be launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. This is a direct response to the North Korean threat, Wolf, and this is a capability that analysts say the U.S. has fallen way behind in, while North Korea's missile technology advances.
Could be a critically important test indeed. Brian Todd, thanks for the good reporting.
The U.S. military is planning to intercept an intercontinental range missile like the one North Korea is said to be developing. The first of its kind test is scheduled for next week. An interceptor missile will be fired from California to shoot down a simulated ICBM launched from the Marshall Islands in the Pacific. The exercise comes after 2 recent successful ballistic missile tests by North Korea. There are worries about what North Korea could do with a nuclear weapon, of course. One of them sounds like science fiction, but many people say the threat is real. Tonight, correspondent Doug McElway looks at both sides of the EMP debate.
Today, the old duck and cover films from Cold War days seem campy and quaint. To many, a nuclear blast and its resultant electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, seems so unimaginable, so unlikely, that few worry about it, and fewer still take any precautions.
It's not real, and it's something out of a James Bond movie. A general consensus is that it's not a real threat. It's not imminent by any stretch of the imagination.
Tell that to Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, who heads Congress's EMP Commission.
We have information, for example, the data from actual high-altitude nuclear detonations that were conducted by us and the Russians back in the 1961-62 time frame that did things like knock the lights out in Hawaii.
An EMP is a short burst of electromagnetic energy that all nuclear explosions produce to varying degrees. A large EMP triggered over the United States from an orbiting nuke at the right altitude could fry the circuitry of cell phones, render electronic banking, automobile computers, railways, air traffic control, and airplanes themselves useless. Food would rot in refrigerators and in farm fields, with no means of transporting agri-products to population centers. In the following weeks and months, a truly Mad Max world would evolve. Dr. Pry believes a naivete about EMP pervades the Western democracies, where nukes are kept mostly out of sight and out of mind.
But for totalitarian and authoritarian states, as in the case of Iran and possibly North Korea, the use of nuclear weapons is not only unthinkable, but in their open source military doctrine, they've written for years about being able to win a nuclear war, that you can fight a nuclear war.
Adding to EMP worries, North Korea's recent successful test of a solid-fueled ballistic missile. The solid fuel needs less preparation, meaning less warning time for those targeted. In addition, North Korea also has at least 2 observation satellites that orbit over the U.S. at an altitude ideal for an EMP attack.
For years, Congress has struggled with many bills designed to harden the nation's electric grid against an EMP attack, but none have made it out of committee. Special interests often intervene, fearful of the cost of upgrades when the effects of an EMP attack are still being disputed. Brett?
Doug, thank you.